Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto was trained by Anko, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. Naruto nervously made his way towards the Hokage Tower to meet his new sensei. He was really curious who his sensei would be, what whatif would be like, hopefully they will get along. He made a promise to be on his best behavior so he could make a good impression. Yesterday he had spent the whole day practicing the tree walking exercise and the basic movement of het taijutsu styles he had chosen to learn. Tree walking was going really well in his own opinion. Yesterday he had succeeded in walking up and down the tree for about 2 hours without falling down. He was pretty much sure that he had almost mastered that part of the chakra control exercises. Next would be the walking on water exercises according to his scroll. He really wanted to try that one, but he made himself promise to do one thing at a time so he was sure to master the basics. Greeting the lady at the desk, he said he was expected to meet his sensei here today. She looked into the reservation book and saw his name marked down. She told him he was right on time and that he could see the Hokage. So Naruto knocked and waited for the call to enter. Hearing permission to enter, he quickly opened the door and went inside. "Ah, Naruto, good morning. How have you been?" Sandaime asked, smiling at seeing Naruto. "Hey Ji-chan, I'm fine thanks. How are you?" "I've been great. I went to the library just like you said and found this book on tree walking and water walking. It was really interesting. I almost got the tree walking exercise mastered. I practiced a lot yesterday," Naruto told in a voice full of pride. Sarutobi was surprised to say the least. Tree walking was not an easy thing to learn. More so to learn from a book. That was really a job well done. "Well done Naruto, I'm really proud of you. To master it so fast you must have practiced really hard. Have you found something on taijutsu?" Sandaime congratulated Naruto. Eager to impress his Ji-chan, he told all about his trip to the library, the things he had found and his training the day before. Just when he was about to tell about planning the water walking exercise, somebody knocked on the door. Knowing that this was probably his sensei, Naruto quickly quieted down and looked at his Ji-chan. "Enter," Sarutobi called out. The door opened and a young woman entered the office. Naruto gulped and turned his head so he could see just what his sensei looked like. First thing he noticed was that his sensei was a very beautiful young woman. She wore a brown trench coat, a short dark brown skirt above a fishnet cloth which covered the rest of her body. She had a look of pure mischief in her eyes and her hair was a shade of purple that really looked great on her. All in all, Naruto had to say he found her very beautiful. "Good morning Hokage-sama," the young woman said, slightly bowing to show her respect. "Ah, good morning Anko-san. Glad to see you in such good spirits. I would like to introduce you to your young student. Anko, this is Uzumaki Naruto," Sandaime said. "Naruto, I would like you to meet your Junin sensei Mitarashi Anko," Sandaime said, introducing Anko to Naruto. Naruto jumped up from his chair and formally introduced himself to his teacher, which she did as well. "Well, since I have lots of work to do today, I'm sure the two of you can get to know each other better on your own. Naruto, listen to your sensei. She's a very accomplished kunoichi and will teach you a lot. I will see you soon, okay?" Sandaime said while dismissing the both of them. Student and teacher nodded the goodbye and stepped into the hallway. "Well Gaki, let's go someplace where we can get to know each other." "I know, let's go to the clearing you practiced in yesterday. Hope you can keep up Gaki, because if you're more than 5 minutes late there will be hell to pay," Anko said with a slightly sadistic smile. Naruto wondered how she knew where he trained, but hearing something about hell to pay if he was late, he quickly followed his sensei hoping he could keep up with her. When he arrived at the clearing he was out of breath and panting very much, but he had made just in time. Anko looked at him with a look that said, "Well done, you're in time." She sat down and motioned to Naruto to do the same. "Now, I'm sure you have questions about almost everything, but before that we'll take some time to talk with each other, okay?" "Well, I'll go first. As you know now, my name is Mitarashi Anko. I'm 24 years old and I specialize in assassination and interrogation. My favorite food is dango and green bean tea. This is the first time I accepted to teach, so it's going to be new to both of us. Okay, your turn. Anko finished with her part of the introduction. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I'm 13 years old and just finished the academy. My favorite food is ramen from Ichiraku's. My hobbies used to be playing pranks and causing trouble, but since I graduated I made the promise to become the greatest shinobi in all the land, so now I'm training to reach that goal. My likes are my precious people and my dislikes are the people who treat me bad. My dreams are to make my parents and Sandaime Ji-chan proud, to become the best shinobi and finally to become Hokage myself. Naruto said with conviction. Anko nodded, seeming to be very satisfied with Naruto's introduction. She looked at him and couldn't be more happy that he got rid of his orange-colored jumpsuit. His new outfit suited him and it looked stylish and professional. Very good, I'm sure we will get along fine. Now I'm going to answer any questions you may have as long if I have the answers. If I don't know the answer I will get back to you on that question when I do have an answer. Anko told Naruto. Okay, that's fine. My first question would be, why did you accept to teach me? Secondly, what will you teach me? Will we do missions? Assassination and interrogation sounds cool, but will I have to learn those as well? Naruto quickly asked his questions. Those are very good questions, Naruto. Let's see, the reason I accepted to teach you is because you and I are a lot alike. I will not tell you the full story yet since that's very personal, but let's say that like you I'm not very well liked by a large part of Konoha. Also, I have seen you train from time to time and I can see a lot of potential, so it would be a shame if we didn't train you to be the best shinobi you can be. What I will teach you will depend on you. What I mean is that we will work on the things you need the most. When those things are learned, we will focus on things you would like to learn. Now mind you, I'm not an all-knowing person, so some things you'll have to learn on your own, but I will help where I can. Now concerning missions, we won't do any of those for at least 6 months. Before you start protesting, I'm doing this so we can use these months to fully devote them to training. You will see the logic in this soon enough. Where we will train is a surprise. Anko said, answering Naruto's questions. Naruto, who was about to start protesting about the no missions thing, quickly shut up and started thinking. 6 months of pure training would allow him to become stronger and more advanced, so that was not a bad idea. Besides, he had heard about the so-called missions genins were forced to do. Learning and studying what he wanted with his teacher's help sounded really cool, so that was okay too. In the end, he couldn't see any faults in his teacher's words, so he quickly nodded, showing his agreement. Glad you agree, Naruto. I promise that you won't regret it. Now, yesterday I saw you training using the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Can you explain me why? By the way, nice work on the tree walking exercise. Very well done. Anko asked. Well, before I kicked Mizuki's ass, I had learned the jutsu from the Forbidden Scroll, and the scroll had some instructions that said that everything a Kage Bunshin learns, the caster learns as well. So I made enough clones and told them to separate in groups and practice. That way training and learning goes much faster, and I can learn several things at the same time. Naruto explained to Anko. Now this was new to Anko. That the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu had such an effect was amazing to her. It would open new possibilities for training Naruto and even for her own training. Never would she have thought such a thing was possible. She could already imagine the sort of training she would have to make for Naruto. This promised to be even more exciting than she originally thought. Amazing. I didn't know this was possible, but I can see the advantage in using this jutsu. This is going to be very useful. I also saw you practicing 2 different styles of taijutsu that I have never seen before. What are they? Anko continued. Well, the academy style of taijutsu never worked well for me, and since I don't have a family taijutsu style like others, I looked in the library, but I didn't find any taijutsu book in the shinobi section. I guess people want to keep their family taijutsu a secret. But I found these book in the civilian section. They're ancient style that nobody uses anymore. So I found them interesting because they would be unpredictable and unknown to most shinobi. Naruto said, explaining his reasons to learn those styles. This is the so-called S-last of his class. These are very well out decisions. He awised his options and came to a very accurate solution. Those idiots at the academy just didn't see this boy's potential. Well, I make sure that they regret not looking underneath the underneath. Anko mused, hearing Naruto finishing his explanation. Well done, Naruto. You certainly picked out some very useful and powerful taijutsu styles. If you can master them, you'll be a force to be reckoned with. Now, let me explain some things about the training we'll be doing in the next 6 months. Anko said. Naruto, who was slightly blushing from all the praise he got from his sensei, listened very carefully to what his sensei was about to say. She told him that they would leave the village for 6 months to replace the wood show tomorrow. Then she proceeded to tell him a raw form of training schedule which they would be able to change when necessary. The first 2 months they would focus on his chakra control and his taijutsu, since these two things needed the most work right now. The following 2 months would be dedicated to ninjutsu training and some weapon training. In the final 2 months of training they would focus on mission training and the likes. On top of all that, he would be free to study anything he wanted, but only after they finished the training for the day. Anko would also teach him about the several shinobi clans in Konoha. Every month she would report his progress to the Sandaime so he would know what they were working on. Naruto nodded, knowing this was going to be intense, but the more he thought about it, the more excited he became. After these 6 months he would defiantly be much stronger than ever. He couldn't wait to start. Alright, that's it for today, Gaki. Prepare yourself because tomorrow your training starts. You might want to go say goodbye to Hokage-sama and Iruka since you won't see them for 6 months. I'll meet you at the main gate tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Bring everything you think you might need. Don't worry about books or stuff like that, I will be able to get those for you when I make my report to Hokage-sama each month. See you tomorrow and don't be late, got it? Anko said before leaving. Naruto nodded, promising he would be on time, and bid her goodbye. Thinking that saying goodbye to his precious people wasn't a bad idea, he went back to the village where he started searching for Iruka. Finding him at his home, he quickly explained everything and told Iruka that they would meet in 6 months' time. Iruka wished him a successful training and told him he would look forward to see how strong Naruto had become in those 6 months. Naruto promptly challenged Iruka to a sparring match when he got back. Iruka accepted, laughing at Naruto's challenge. Next he went to Ichiraku's. While he was there he had several bowls of ramen, knowing he probably wouldn't have the chance to eat ramen for 6 long months. The owner of Ichiraku and his daughter wished him well and told him that they would miss him very much. He then went to say goodbye to his Ji-chan, who also wished him well and told him to study hard so he could become Hokage. Hurry up and become strong, Naruto. I can't stand this amount of paperwork anymore. It's driving me nuts, Sandaime said, laughing to Naruto. Naruto laughed as well and while leaving asked why Sandaime didn't use the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu to do paperwork. Sarutobi stood there looking at the closed door, shocked beyond belief that Naruto had given him the solution to one of his biggest problems. He also berated himself for not thinking about this years ago. Telling himself that he would reward Naruto when he came back, he quickly used the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu to make several clones and attack the remaining paperwork for the day. Naruto woke up at 5 a.m. feeling a little nervous about the start of his training, but he had a good feeling about his sensei. She looked strict but fair and he was sure that she would teach him a lot of things. He had everything packed last night. He sealed almost everything of value into his storage scrolls so they wouldn't get stolen or damaged by some hateful burglar. He packed all his new clothes, his new shuriken and kunai set. He also took his old ones just to be sure. He packed the copy he had made of the sealing books since he really wanted to learn about sealing. At 5:40 a.m. he closed the door, locked it and went towards the main gate without looking back. He arrived with almost 10 minutes to spare so his sensei would be pleased. Anko, who had also said goodbye to some friends, woke up with a splitting headache. She went to see her best friend Yuhi Kurenai and told her about Naruto and how she would be training him. She also told her how much she had learned about Naruto just by spending a few hours with him. Kurenai was glad to see her friend happy and excited for the first time in a long time. Though she didn't personally know Naruto, she never hated him for carrying the kyubi. She privately thought that Naruto really was a hero in his own way and she respected him for never giving in to the hate. After talking and drinking the whole night, Anko went home knowing she would have to get up early. So when she arrived at the main gate at 5:59 a.m. her headache still hadn't disappeared, which made her a little irritated. Seeing Naruto standing there looking all fresh and eager to start, she couldn't help but think that maybe it wasn't a good idea of her to meet this early. Alright Gaki, let's go. Oh, some advice you might want to remember. Never drink too much sake when you have to get up before noon. You'll regret it just like I am now. Anko said softly, trying not to worsen her headache by talking loudly. Naruto nodded with a small smile and followed his sensei. He really didn't understand grown-ups and their likes of alcohol. What was so good about alcohol anyway? After some time they reached a huge fence with a gate which was locked with a huge lock. Anko stopped in front of the gate, reached into her backpack, pulled out some sort of weird key and opened the gate. This, Gaki, is the Forest of Death. It's a very dangerous place for people to be in. It's also one of my favorite playing grounds. There are 44 gates like this one, so you can imagine how big this place is. The whole forest is divided into several areas. We will stay in an area that is relatively safe. Once inside we'll head out east where there's a good place to camp. Alright, follow me. Anko motioned Naruto to follow her. They traveled for about 4 hours until they came at the place Anko mentioned earlier on. There was a small river, a large open place suited for training, and a cave where they could sleep sheltered from rain and wind. Anko went inside the cave and dropped her backpack and took out a scroll and pencil before coming back out of the cave into the clearing. She motioned to Naruto to come and sit next to her. Alright, yesterday I sort of explained how we would divide these next 6 months. Like I said, the first 2 months we'll be focusing on chakra control and taijutsu training. The day starts at 6 a.m., at that time you will start with stretching and some running. Then at 7 a.m. we'll have breakfast till 7:30 a.m. Following breakfast you'll make as much clones as you can and order half of them to practice tree walking and water walking, the other half will work on taijutsu katas. During that time you and I will spar using the styles you have chosen. After lunch we'll work on stealth and tracking methods, making traps and human anatomy. After that you're free to study or practice what you want and I'll help you however much I can. Sounds okay to you? Anko finished explaining. Naruto quickly agreed, saying he couldn't wait to get started on all this interesting stuff. Anko chuckled, pleased that he didn't have any comment or remarks on the training schedule she had made the night before. Since it was almost time for lunch, she decided to let Naruto catch some fish that they could prepare over a fire. Naruto, who had never been camping before, eagerly went over to the river to try and catch some fish. Anko smiled when she looked at him having fun trying to catch a fish. After lunch she asked him what kind of things he would like to learn while they were here. It was better that she knew beforehand so she could prepare to help him in any way. Well, I really want to learn about sealing. The sealing scrolls one bought at Hideki-san's store are really useful, and he told me that you can do a lot of things with seals, so I really want to learn about that. Also, I saw this really cool katana, but since I don't know how to use it I didn't buy it, but I think I would like to learn how to use one. What I also want to learn is how to make a jutsu. I know that there are a lot of jutsu, but learning to make my own would be so cool. Since I don't have any family jutsu to learn, I would like to start making Uzumaki family jutsu so that I can teach them to my kids later. I want to make the Uzumaki name known throughout the world. Naruto said. Anko whistled at some of the things Naruto wanted to learn. Sealing and jutsu making were a field of study that could take years. When she told him that, Naruto just shrugged and told her that he would do it anyway. He reminded her that he had hundreds of clones at his disposal to help with the stews. Seeing the truth in that statement, she told him that she would try to get him some books on both topics. Since she was a Junin, she had access to the Shinobi library in the Hokage Tower. She was sure that she could find some interesting books for him. The rest of the afternoon they talked about several things like how to become a Junin, how the missions worked, and so on. The next morning Naruto got up at 5:30 a.m. and got ready to start training. He woke up Anko like he was told to, although she hadn't told him about the fact that she wasn't a morning person. His jaw still hurt when he left the cave. So at 6 a.m. he started stretching, and after that he did a large number of laps around the clearing like Anko ordered him to. This would build up stamina, which was necessary when fighting for a longer time. After breakfast he made about 100 clones. Anko ordered them to divide into 4 groups and assigned each group to a task. Group 1 got tree walking, Group 2 got water walking, Group 3 got taekwondo, and Group 4 went on to aikido training. While the clones started their assignment, Naruto and Anko started sparring. Anko taught him that there was a difference between punching someone and hitting someone. Punching someone meant that he aimed at a specific part of the human body. For example, the T, solar plexus, groin. Naruto winced at that one while Anko smiled, and several other places of the human body. The exercise was that she would call out a place for him to target and then he would have to try to hit her. After that, the roles would change and she would attack and he would have to defend. Needless to say that when the training was over, Naruto had several bruises and ached all over. I know it hurts now, Naruto, but soon you will be able to stop all these attacks without even trying. It will become an automatic reaction to protect those places. When you'll be able to do that, then we will start on actual sparring. Anko tried to explain to a hurting Naruto. I know, but it doesn't change the fact that it hurts. Naruto answered cheekily. Maybe he should add medical jutsu to the list. Although he always healed fast now that he thought about it. This time it was Anko who took care of Dinah. She had caught 2 rabbits and started to prepare them. Naruto watched as she skinned the rabbit, started to remove the insides. He asked if he could have the skin, which he planned to save to make some warm clothes or something for the winter. Anko agreed with this sort of planning and happily allowed Naruto to keep the rabbit skin. After dinner, Naruto started to read up on his notes on sealing and Anko started reading his Aikido book. So every day Anko and Naruto trained together and Naruto was making excellent progress on his chakra control. After a week of water walking and tree walking, Anko told him that he had sufficiently mastered those 2 exercises. She proceeded to teach him a more advanced way of practicing chakra control. She told him to take a kunai and place it in the palm of his hand, then he was to focus his chakra in a way that would lift the kunai in the air and keep it there for a period of time. At first his kunai went up in the air, but after a few seconds his kunai would start moving toward the left or the right and fall down on the ground. After figuring out that he was supposed to move his chakra in such a way that his kunai remained in the middle of his hand, things got slightly better. Several days of practicing later, he managed to keep the kunai in the air for as long as he wanted. Then Anko told him the next step in this exercise. He was told that he now had to make the kunai spin above his palm without letting it fall. This proved to be very tricky and it took him about a week of non-stop practicing with lots of clones to master it, but in the end it was well worth it. When he showed Anko that he mastered the exercise, she told him that this was something a high-level chunin was supposed to learn if he wanted to become a junin. Naruto beamed with pride at accomplishing such a difficult exercise when he was just a beginning genin. Anko did tell him not to get arrogant just because of that and that he had plenty of other things he should continue to work on. Naruto quickly sobered up after that comment. His taijutsu had gone very well. Just as Anko had told him, he now could defend the most vulnerable parts of his body without thinking about it. He did it without thinking, and more than once he was glad that he could. Anko was unforgiving in her taijutsu training. She pushed him to the limit and beyond every time they sparred, but the results were great. Anko had also started learning taekwondo and aikido with Naruto. Just like Naruto, she could see the strong points of both styles. By combining the 2 styles, you got a taijutsu style that was offensive as defensive. Although Anko almost always won when they fought, Naruto was quickly catching up to her. She found that out in a sparring match when she underestimated him, he had managed to grab her by the wrist, twitching it in a way that left her no other way than give up unless she wanted him to break her wrist. As for Naruto's private studying of seals, things were progressing as well, albeit much slower than he wanted to, but that was because he only had the first 4 chapters of the book he had found in the library. So after 2 weeks of studying he was out of material to work with. The first 4 chapters only dealt with an introduction, an overview of the most common use of seals and the first steps on how to make a seal. Unfortunately he had no chart of seals he could use, so he didn't know how several seals looked like, which stopped his studying right at that point. But since Anko had to report to the Hokage tomorrow, she would stop by the Junin library and pick up some textbook on sealing and jutsu making. Well Gaki, this end the first month and I'm very proud to say you have made some excellent progress. Your chakra control has improved to the level of a high-level chunin, your taijutsu has come a long way and your stealth and tracking knowledge is on par with a mid-level genin. It could still use some work, but you're doing great. Anko said with a proud voice, showing Naruto that she meant every word. Thank you, sensei. I owe it all thanks to your help and training. Thanks to you I'm on my way to becoming the best shinobi in all the lands. Naruto said sincerely. Don't mention it, Gaki. I have learnt a lot as well. I enjoyed our first month here and I'm looking forward to the next 5 months. Now is there something you would like beside books on sealing and jutsu making? Might as well take advantage while I'm there. Anko said. Naruto thought for a few seconds and remembered something that he had been thinking about for a few days. A few days ago one of his old kunai broke when he was hunting for lunch. He thought that if he knew how to forge weapons himself he would be able to repair and make his own weapons. Well, if you insist. Could you look on a book on how to forge weapons? You know, to learn how to make your own kunai or something like that. Naruto asked Anko. Anko told him she would look if they had book on that subject, but she wasn't sure that she would find book like that. Naruto told her about Hideki-san and his shop and that maybe Hideki-san would know where to find books on that subject. Anko said that was a possibility and said she would pay a visit to the man. After a good night's sleep, Anko told Naruto to practice on his own for that day while she went to the village to give her report. She guessed she would be back by the time it got dark. Naruto promised he would train like every other day and went out to start his stretching and running exercises. Anko left shortly after waving goodbye and started to make towards the village. Since she didn't have to slow down her pace so Naruto would be able to follow, she went full speed and made it to the village in just less than 30 hours. She went straight to the Hokage Tower knowing that the Sandaime would be curious to hear her report. Arriving at the tower, she went inside, greeting the girl at the front desk and telling her she had an appointment with the Hokage. After checking her book, the girl told her to go on ahead. Anko nodded and went towards the Hokage's office. She knocked on the door and hearing permission to go in, she opened the door and went inside. Anko-san, how have you been? I was wondering when I would see you today. Please have a seat, Sarutobi said to Anko. Anko nodded and took a seat in front of the Hokage. Seeing a curious look on the man's face, she immediately started giving her report. Good morning, sir. I'm fine, thank you very much. How are you? I can tell you want to hear about Naruto and his training. Anko said, trying to tease the man a little bit. I'm fine, thank you, and yes, I'm very curious to hear how the first month of Naruto's training has been. So don't tease an old man and tell him what he wants to know. Sarutobi said, smiling. Very well, sir. You'll be glad to hear that Naruto's training has been going better than I ever suspected. At first I had expected to report that his chakra control and taijutsu would have advanced to a genin level, but I'm very proud to say that Naruto has surpassed all of my expectations. Thanks to his use of the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, his chakra control has reached what I believe to be high chunin level. He already completed the kunai spinning exercise, which, as you know, is necessary for a chunin to become a junin. He did it in about 1.5 weeks. He had some trouble in the beginning, but once he understood the concept, he completed the exercise in record time. His taijutsu was just as you warned me about. The taijutsu style that's taught at the academy is totally wrong for him, but he has picked up some very interesting books on 2 taijutsu styles called Taekwondo and Aikido. They are what most people call ancient style, but nonetheless they are very effective and Naruto is very proficient at them. I have started to learn them as well, and I must say they are without a doubt a powerful style to know. We have also been working on stealth and tracking, trap making and more theoretical knowledge. He still needs training, but he's now at mid-genin level on those matters. After said and done, Naruto is a very talented young boy who could very well become one of the best shinobi in the world, if not the best of all. Anko finished. Sandaime had been listening very closely to Anko's report and he couldn't be more proud at what he heard. Hearing that Naruto had surpassed his teacher's expectations pleased him very much. But still he wondered why nobody at the academy had noticed Naruto's talent. When he asked about it, the answer he got displeased him greatly. I asked myself that very same question, sir, and when I asked he first refused to give me an answer, saying he didn't want to cause trouble to anyone. I had to bribe him with a new jutsu to get the answer. I wasn't happy when I heard that when he started at the academy he tried to be the very best and sent USD every day, but every time he tried to answer a question the teacher ignored him. When his teacher asked him a question it was always a question no academy student could answer. He even got different tests than his classmates. Naruto realized that no matter what he did, he would always get bad scores, so he stopped trying. He also said that every time something happened in class he would get the blame and the punishment. All this resulted in Naruto not learning the basics, which lead to him failing 3 times. It wasn't until Iruka became his sensei that he actually liked going to class, but after years of neglecting his studies the damage was done. Anko said with a tone of anger in her voice. Sarutobi slumped down in his chair and sighed. He should have known something like this had happened. He always wondered why Naruto wasn't as smart and talented as his parents were, but now he knew that this wasn't the case. It was because of poor teaching and neglect that Naruto's grades suffered. I should have known about all of this. Naruto's parents were so talented that it was impossible for Naruto not to be a talented young boy. Damn, some people's ignorance and prejudice, they only saw the Kyuubi and never Naruto. Well, I'm not going to let it slide this time. Sarutobi said, slamming his fist on his desk. Please Hokage-sama, don't do anything big. Naruto told me this in confidence and I really don't want to break his trust. He told me that it didn't matter anymore thanks to his precious people. He told me that he's very happy right now. I don't want him to have to deal with this when he gets back. Please. Anko almost begged Sandaime. Fine, you're right, after all he's happy now and that's what matters the most. Thank you Anko for taking care of Naruto. I owe you one. So you tell me he has high Chunin level chakra control already? He never ceases to amaze me, always surprising everybody. So what do you have planned for his training in the coming months? Sarutobi said after calming down a little. Well sir, at first I thought it would take 2 months to get his chakra control and taijutsu to an acceptable level, so that plan went straight out the window. So we've planned to start speed and strength training a month earlier. I'm also thinking about starting his ninjutsu training this month instead of next month. Then there is also his individual training and studying he does. I couldn't believe my eyes when at the end of training he would rest and read for a short time and then he would just start exercising again. Naruto has an unbelievable amount of stamina and chakra. I had trouble keeping up at first, but thanks to me training with him I have become stronger myself. Anko said, proud of her student progress. Individual training and stews. What does he do? Yes, Anbu and myself are quite aware of Naruto's amazing stamina. The Anbu did have to chase him all over town several times after one of his pranks. I still remember some of those chases. Sarutobi said, laughing as he remembered one Anbu member collapsing after a chase to catch Naruto. Well, Naruto is studying sealing on his own after our daily training is over. He found those sealing scrolls so interesting that he wants to learn all about seals. As a matter of fact, I will borrow some books on sealing for him from the Junin library. He has 2 other subjects he wants to study, being jutsu making and weapon forging. I have to visit someone called Hideki-san if I don't find anything in the library about forging. Anko said. He wants to learn sealing and jutsu making. He sure knows to pick some of the most difficult areas of study, doesn't he? Ah yes, Hideki-san, yes, he made quite an impression on Naruto when we went shopping there. Sarutobi said, shocked that Naruto wanted to learn these kind of things. Yes, but when I told him that mastering sealing and jutsu making could take years, he just shrugged and told me that he had a small army of students at his disposal. Took me a minute to realize he meant Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. But the thing is, sir, while Naruto isn't a book-smart kind of genius, I believe he's the kind of person that learns the most when he can practice with his hands. You know, learning by trying and failing but never giving up, and in the end he will understand how something works and he will achieve what he wants. Anko said. Sarutobi nodded. After all, one of his own students was that kind of person. Hating to study from a book, but give him something that he could learn by doing and he would do it in no time. Sarutobi got up from his chair and went to his private bookshelf. After searching for a while he grabbed a book and made his way over to Anko. This is one of the most completed books about seals and sealing. It starts from the very beginning and ends at an high intermediate level. Tell Naruto that he can use the book as long as he needs it. Just tell him that it is a book that was written by his hero and he will understand. Tell him that I'm very proud of his progress and that there's no doubt in my mind that one day he will have my job. Sarutobi said to Anko. Anko nodded and thanked the Hokage for the great book that would help Naruto a lot in his study of seals. She told him that she would be back again next month for her report on Naruto's progress. Getting up, she slightly bowed, showing her respect to the kind man that Naruto considered his Ji-chan. When she left the office, she promptly went to the Junin library looking for books on jutsu making and weapon forging. After about half an hour, she had found 2 books on jutsu making that looked to be very interesting, but she didn't find any books on weapon forging. So she went to find this Hideki person Naruto had told her about. She didn't know the store Naruto mentioned, but she knew the area in that part of town. After searching for about 10 minutes, she located the shop she was looking for. She wasted no time and went inside looking for this Hideki person. Once inside, she could see why Naruto was so excited when he mentioned the store. It was without a doubt one of the biggest shinobi stores she had ever seen. Maybe she would find something that interested her as well. Going towards the counter, she saw a man around the Hokage's age reading a magazine. Luckily for the old man, it wasn't a dirty magazine, otherwise she would have to hurt him. "Hello sir, I'm looking for Hideki-san," Anko said. The man looked up from his magazine and told her that he was Hideki. "Ah, nice to meet you sir. My name is Mitarashi Anko and I'm Naruto's Junin sensei. Naruto asked if you could help him finding a book on weapon forging. I looked in the library but didn't find anything," Anko explained. "Nice to meet you as well, Anko-san." "Ah yes, young Naruto. How is he doing?" Hideki asked, wondering how the young genin was doing. Anko told him how Naruto's training was going and that he was progressing very well. She told him about his interest in sealing thanks to his sealing scroll and about the broken kunai and how it got him interested in weapon forging. Hideki, who used to forge his own weapons for his store while he was younger, was glad to help out Naruto, so he went in the back and got his own personally written book on his own way of forging. He also got Naruto several scrolls that contained a large amount of scrap metal to practice his forging on. Scrap metal was of no use to make actual weapons but was good enough to practice on. Lastly, he gave Naruto a scroll that contained a small amount of strong metal that was used to forge high-quality weapons. Since he didn't use it anymore, he was more than glad to give it to Naruto. Anko thanked him for the great help and gifts he had given Naruto, and she told him that Naruto would be very happy knowing that he had such a good friend in Hideki. After putting everything away in her backpack, Anko looked at time to see that she still had plenty of time to get back, so she went to find her friend Kurenai. Finding her at the training grounds with her genin team, she went over to talk to her. Kurenai saw her friend arriving and dismissed her team for the day, wanting to speak without having to worry about her students listening in. Anko quickly told Kurenai about her past month and the time she had spent with Naruto without revealing any details of his training or the things he had learned. Kurenai could see how happy and cheerful Anko was when she talked about her student. She couldn't resist asking more about the mysterious boy named Naruto. "So his training is going really well. That's good to hear. You look very happy, Anko. I don't remember the last time you were so cheerful," Kurenai said to her best friend. Anko told her that Naruto really was a great guy. She told her that for the first time in her life she really felt comfortable around a man. He was respectful, wasn't AL, and overall a really nice guy. Kurenai smiled at her friend. She was really happy that Anko had found a friend in Naruto. They both needed more friends to lose some of that lonely feeling both knew all too well. After that, Kurenai told her about her team and the missions they had done until now. She also told that those D-rank missions were so dull that she actually had fallen asleep while her students were completing the mission. That earned her a pat on the back from Anko, who said how happy she was not being forced to do such idiotic chores. After talking about non-shinobi related topics, Anko needed to get back, otherwise she would have to travel in the dark, and that was something she didn't want to do, so they said goodbye and promised to meet each other again next month. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.